You can love someone unconditionally and still say, no, I can't help you right now, right? Let's be clear. I try to practice loving everyone unconditionally, but I have the right to say no. Introducing The Vixen Voice, a podcast for ambitious women entrepreneurs ready to move into their feminine essence, live their truth, and unlock their full potential. I'm your host, April Roberts, and each week I'll be interviewing inspiring women who decided to take a leap of faith to pursue their dream. Women who believe that they were born for something bigger. Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of The Vixen Voice. Today, you just get me, and I am answering your questions. So if you're thinking, April, I didn't know we could ask questions and you would answer them on air. Well, you need to join Abundant Businesswomen. That is my Facebook group. And every week we ask what the women who are in our group would like to hear on the Vixen Voice. So you can just join there and drop your question in, and I will be answering them on solo episodes. Another thing we have coming up is follow us we have a brand new Instagram page we started just for the Vixen Voice. So we separated it out for my personal page and the Vixen Gathering, which feel free to follow us at either of those places, but go follow us at the Vixen Voice. And if you follow us there, then you're going to get the same kind of access. What we are doing is starting a campaign where we're going to have questions from me, like you were a guest. So it'll just be, a little like quote card, except it's a question as if you were a guest. And we're going to invite you to have fun and answer in the comments. And every month we are going to pick the top answer, and we'll figure out how we're going to judge that. It probably won't be me, it'll probably be the team, right? And we will pick the top answer and invite you to be a panelist on the Vixen Voice. So if you're an avid listener, you love this show, we would love to get to know you better. Follow us at the Vixen Voice. Join my Facebook group, Abundant Business Women. All the links are below, but you can search for both of those pretty easily. And then I'd love to answer your question or have you on the show, and that would be super fun. And if you're nervous, don't worry. I was joking, I had a panel today, and afterwards one of the ladies was like, I didn't want to tell you before, but this is my first podcast I've been on. But she did a great job, and I was teasing her. I was like, oh, I've had plenty of virgins on the show. Like, we always have fun. So I love it. If you're new to podcasting, no big deal. I'll kind of coach you up before we go on air. We'll make sure you're set up for success, and we will rock and roll. So again, join Abundant Businesswomen. That's where you can ask the questions you'd like me to answer, like I am today. And go follow at the Vixen Voice and watch for that new campaign. Just participate. It's going to be, my face with the microphone asking a question. Maybe some week we'll do reels where I'm asking a question. Answer the question in the comments. And again, every month we'll do at least one a week. And each month we will pick the quote unquote best answer, I guess, most insightful, most entertaining. Maybe if one makes us laugh, I don't know, just the one that stands out. And we'd love to have you here on the Vixen Voice. So today, this is a very interesting question from Sharon in Mississippi. I love it. And as you know, I believe in God. I talk about God. I believe the work I'm doing is in God's honor. So I'm very comfortable with this question, but we want to meet you where you're at. If you're not comfortable with the term God, first of all, I'm always happy to have a conversation with you about that. If you just want to chat out loud with someone, I coach plenty of people when it comes to God and maybe religious trauma and different things holding them back. That's part of my spiritual work. But anyway, if you for today need to replace God with universe or whatever you believe in, again, I like to be clear that, God is my boss. I believe in God, but I don't want it to turn you away because this is such a valuable question to all women listening, and I know a couple of men listen to this too. You might find it valuable as well. But here's Sharon's question. How can it be that I can always support other women, but not always get the same treatment as God's holy word says in his golden rule? So basically, I know Sharon's a giver. I think what Sharon's saying is, I feel like I'm always there for other women. I'm always supporting them. I'm always giving. And I don't always receive the same in return. So I bet a lot of you can relate to that. And if you can, please share with us in the comments to this if you're watching us on YouTube, or drop it in social media when this drops. But, it'd kind of be nice to let Sharon know she's not alone. So we learn so much from each other when we have these conversations, right? So a couple of things. Obviously, if Sharon were here and I were coaching her live, which I'd love to have her, she's always working when I'm recording, I would really get down to the specific situation to her and help her find the answer for herself, because that's what good coaching does. It helps you find, it basically holds space and guides you through questions to find your right answer. And, I am an 8 Enneagram, which makes me a challenger by nature, so I might lovingly challenge you to really get to the truth. But since I don't have a live coachee here, I'm going to tell you, a couple of things that came to my mind when reading this question, both from experience in coaching and also my own personal experience of things that I have experienced. I'm going to go down a couple of different paths answering this from experience and experience of clients, and just, things I know spiritually and in coaching and in human development, etc. So your own situation is going to be unique, but you might find some solace in one of these answers. So first thing that came to my mind is, Sharon, do you ask for help? Do you let other women know when you need help, right? And I ask this from experience because I was very bad at this once upon a time. And I think most women in my generation, and a lot of women I know, are not good at asking for help. I mean, we are the OG highlight reels, we Gen Xers, right? Like, everything's fine. I got it under control. Oh, I'm fine. Like, how many times in your life have you said, oh, I'm totally fine, when you're not, right? So the first thing I would ask is, are you being real with yourself? Are you admitting when you're not fine, or when you need support, or when you need help? Second question is, are you allowing yourself to be vulnerable so that the women around you who might support you actually know that you're in need of support, or that support would be valuable to you? And the third thing I would ask is, do you ask? Like, just, flat out ask. I mean, even now, sometimes it's uncomfortable for me to ask for help, but I know, okay, like, no one's reading my mind. If I need help, I should go ahead and ask, right? And I'm not saying it's easy, but, just ask yourself, do they even know that I need or want support? Because sometimes we're putting this vibe out that, hey, I got it. I'm fine. Everything's under control, and people actually don't want to offend you by offering support. So I would really first look at that situation. Second, I would trust your intuition, right? Well, let me come to that next. So do you ask? And this is how you invite in support. In my spiritual journey, one time I was doing this meditation, and I was really bad at receiving before I was getting this guidance. And in this guidance, I suddenly my eyes were closed and I was deep, and I suddenly had this amazing, beautiful vision of like hula hoops of light all around me, right? Like, just surrounding me like this. And it was just this beautiful circle of light, like, all around me. And I realized it was the beauty of giving and receiving, completing the circle. I'm certain that most of us at some point have offered to help someone, offered a gift, offered something to someone, and they were like, no, I'm fine. And if you're watching this, I'm holding my hand up because energetically that's what they're doing, right? Like, they're holding a hand out to block your energy, the energy of giving. It's not really the thing you want to do or the thing you want to give them. It's actually that energy. It's the intent behind it, right? And they're blocking it. And if this has happened to you, it doesn't feel good. In fact, I feel it in the pit of my stomach and my solar plexus right now when I'm even just mentioning or imagining it, right? And so when we do that to other people, it's the same. It doesn't feel good to them. So I want you, and steal my meditation if you want. Like, for a long time, part of my meditation routine was to close my eyes and see. I mean, now it immediately comes to me when I close my eyes and invite it in. Just these beautiful like hula hoops or circles of light surrounding you all around. And it's the giving and receiving. So I really want you to ask, do you ask for help? Are you open to receiving help? And make sure that you're not energetically blocking them by something you're putting out there. Second, if you get past that and you're like, yeah, I mean, I think they know. I think they know that I need help. And I think that, either they don't help me and I always help them, or they ask too much. Like, they ask for too much help. And again, I don't know the situation if she's just offering support without being asked, if people are asking. But if you start getting resentful, feeling like you're doing too much for people, then that's a boundaries issue. You really need to check your boundaries. Are you setting clear boundaries with people? And again, I'll share a personal experience I had when I lived in Houston and I was running 2 companies and growing this one. I kind of had a lot on my plate, even though I don't have kids. And, I had a trainer and I had a housekeeper who was amazing. She came twice a week, like really helped me out so much. And in 1 week, my housekeeper and my trainer told me they loved me. These were other women. Now, I tell my friends I love them. I don't think anything's wrong with it. Like my best friends, we get off the phone and I'll be like, okay, bye, love ya. Just like I do with my family. But something felt weird about them telling me, not to mention my trainer was calling me like in the middle of the workday, like to share things with me, right? It was more a situation of oversharing on their part, right? Like really violating my boundaries. Like my housekeeper would wait till I got home so she could talk to me, which is fine sometimes, but I don't know about you, but I'm a puddle of nothing when I got home from, the day. And I was really looking forward to my quiet time because I live alone. Or one time, the boyfriend I was dating showed up and we were, I had to change and we were going somewhere and she's like talking to him and it became a boundary issue, right? Like overstepping, oversharing, etc. And it kind of all culminated in 1 week. And I just remember going, what the heck is going on? Like I give all day to my clients. I come home, I have to give to my housekeeper. I have to give to my trainer. Like, these are people I'm paying to give to me. And again, I mean, I believe in being generous and being kind to people and having a relationship, but this was an extreme overshare, crossing boundaries situation, right? And so I was like, what's going on? And I just realized I was inviting their behavior. They're oversharing, they're overstepping boundaries, they're being at my house when they shouldn't be there because I was such an open book and I did not set boundaries from the get-go, right? And so after that, I learned like, okay, I need to set boundaries. I need to have these conversations with people. And, that was right at the beginning of my journey to learning how to set better boundaries, period, in my personal life. But, so my first point is, are you asking and are you letting them know you're open to support? The second question is there a boundaries issue? Are you feeling like this because they ask too much of you or inappropriately, right? In which case, go find my episode on setting graceful boundaries and listen and become a student. It takes a while, trust me. I've been down that journey. And then the third thing I want to say is trust your intuition, right? So if you're feeling resentful, again, it's probably a boundaries issue, or if somebody's asking something and you feel resentful because you feel they don't give to you, I mean, just put your hands over your spiritual heart, like in the center, or your physical heart, whatever you connect with. Close your eyes and ask your intuition. I mean, I personally feel intuition is how God speaks to me. So I say, in the name of God, my Father, I ask my beloved intuition, should I help this person? Right? And I'll be specific about it. And the answer comes quick, yes or no. If your ego doesn't get in the way, right? You're really tapping into that heart energy, to your soul energy, to your intuition. Should I help this person? And if you get a no, then it's not part of your journey to help them right now, right? That's not a no for never, ever. But sometimes by over helping, we create codependence and we're actually messing up someone else's journey. We are not supposed to help them. So there are many reasons you might get a no. And if you get a yes, do it and do it joyfully with no expectations in return. Just know it's your purpose right now at this moment to help this person, to support them, right? And then you can do it from a place of joy, from a place of feeling full, from a place of gratitude and giving. If you get a no, it's a no. A lot of times we don't know why it's a no. Sometimes we figure it out later, but just trust and then say, thank you, my intuition, whatever the answer is. Always think your intuition. And what you're doing is training your intuition. You're saying, hey, I know you've been there all this time knocking at my door. I know that I put on all these roles and all these responsibilities and all this egoic shell. And I learned to tune you out because that's what society taught me to do, because I needed to be a good soldier or a good little girl, right? Whatever it is. And I'm using these to reference different roles that we end up playing. And the important thing is, like, thank that role. Thank your ego. Thank you for protecting me, but I no longer need you anymore, right? And thank you, my intuition. Thank you for talking to me again. I appreciate you. I love you. And you're basically building this muscle of talking to your intuition. Don't question it, go with it, and thank it, even if it makes zero sense. So important, because sometimes something's happening to a person for a reason and we're not meant to save them, right? Other times we're meant to support them. So you really want to tap into that intuition. And if you get a no, set a boundary and just, no, at this time I cannot help you, or no, I can't help you. Whatever feels right to you based on the situation. And finally, and then I want to share that exchange of energy is important, right? Remember the hula hoop of giving and receiving. So we want to make sure we're not always giving. That's not a full circle, right? And we want to make sure we're not blocking receiving. So just remember that exchange of energy is at the heart of everything. So even if you help someone now and then later they show up for you, awesome. I mean, it's like you're good friends. Who cares who picks up the tab? Because they're going to get the tab another time, right? You're at dinner. No, I hate splitting bills. It's like a pet peeve of mine. Sometimes I do it when it's groups of people we don't know that well. But, if it's my friends, it's like, okay, I got it this time. You can get it next time, right? That's a perfect exchange of energy. You don't even worry that they're going to show up or do their part when the time is right. So I really think in that term, is that what's going on? And then finally, if you're feeling guilty about this, just remember, for those of you who watch The Chosen, there's a beautiful scene about this. I think it's season 3, I want to say. But also in the Bible, when the apostles went out 2 by 2, Jesus told them, if you're in a city and they refuse to shelter or feed you, leave immediately. He's sending them out to serve people, to heal, to do the work, right? And Jesus tells them, if they do not feed or shelter you, leave. And the reason for this is exchange of energy, right? People should participate in their journey. So if you're supporting or helping them, they're participating by giving you an exchange of energy in a different way. And again, take all of this with a grain of salt. For example, I do my healing work. There's an exchange of energy. I have a donation that I asked for the healing work. And I had someone recently who didn't feel they could do that. I was like, you know what? Tell me what feels good to you. I'll totally honor that. I have a choice, choice, right? I felt in that moment being more charitable made more sense within limitations, right? They wanted multiple healings. Nope, I'm happy to do one. You tell me what you're comfortable with. And then they came back and ended up deciding to give me the full amount, and they wanted the full shebang, right? But that was their choice. I would have honored if they wanted to take me up on less. And if someone came to me really in need of a healing and they absolutely could not afford it, I would ask my intuition, I would ask God if I had permission, and if I got a yes, I would do it. I would do it without charging them, right? But I mean, if they walk up to me in their $500 Nikes and tell me they can't afford to pay the donation price, that's a whole different story, right? But sometimes people truly cannot. At least then it's your choice if you give without receiving. But really important, always ask your intuition, should I do this, right? So anyway, I know that answer kind of went all over the place, but I hope it helps you. I just really, anytime you feel resentful that you're helping people and you don't feel you're receiving, it's likely a boundary issue. But before you assume it's that they're violating a boundary, I would look at your own behavior and say, am I welcoming the help in, right? Do I even have like open borders for them to come in and help me, or am I closed off? And then if you feel resentful that people are coming in too much, are my borders too open, right? We have to constantly self-reflect. And remember that exchange of energy and trusting your intuition is so important. Even God lays this out in the Bible, right? Even Jesus tells us how important this is. So I really hope you found this valuable today. I would love to answer more questions. And today I'm a little short on time, and I like to make shorter episodes for y'all sometimes as a you're welcome and thank you for listening to our long episodes. So I'm going to hop off after one question today, and there were so many parts to this, but please join us in Abundant Businesswomen. Ask your question when that post comes up. I'd love to do 2 or 3 questions per solo episode. And in fact, if we get enough of them, we'll just invite y'all on to ask the questions. And look for our campaign on Instagram where you answer my question, and we're going to pick the best answer each month and have you on as a guest. So anyway, hope today was valuable for you. I hope you'll participate in our fun little campaign and follow us at The Vixen Voice. And I hope you'll join us in Abundant Businesswomen to get your questions answered. And also because I go live coaching every Wednesday. So you don't want to miss that. All right, everyone. Great talking to you. As I always say, the world needs more love. So I'm not advocating not loving others. Just love them with the proper intention. Love them. You can love someone unconditionally and still say, no, I can't help you right now, right? Let's be clear. I try to practice loving everyone unconditionally, but I have the right to say no. I hope this helps. I hope that you have a great week. I would love, send me any follow-up questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so future episodes are automatically downloaded directly to your device. And if you want access to today's show notes, including links to all the resources we mentioned, visit vixengathering.com/podcast. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week for another episode of The Vixen Voice.